Hey, future doctors. Thanks for tuning in to Spoonful of Sugar, a podcast made for medical students, by medical students, to help the medicine go down. Welcome to our very first episode of Spoonful of Sugar. My name is Ria Mulherker. I am now a fourth-year medical student at Drexel University College of Medicine, and I'm really excited to launch this podcast. I thought this first episode would be a great opportunity to introduce you guys to Spoonful of Sugar and kind of tell you guys what we're all about. And so that's what I'm going to spend the rest of the time doing. If you have any questions along the way, feel free to visit our website at spoonfulofsugar.org for more information. So just to tell you guys a little about myself, my name is Ria, and as I said, I'm now a fourth-year medical student. When I look back on my first few years of medical school, I definitely think that one of the hardest things I've had to do academically was prepare for the USMLE Step 1. It's pretty obvious why. It's a lot of information, and it's the first time that we have to answer clinically based vignettes. At least it was the first time for me. And the questions can be really hard, and the process can be really challenging. Along the way, I think that one of the things that helped me the most, however, was advice that I got from upperclassmen who had recently been through my shoes. Whether it was teaching that I got from them through tutoring sessions or just things that they said in passing, little tips and tricks to help do better on the exam. I think those really made a huge difference for me. And so I wanted to create a platform where third and fourth year medical students who've taken the USMLE Step 1 can actually pass on some of their wisdom onto first and second years who are studying for that daunting exam. And although succeeding on that Step 1 exam is definitely an important goal, I think an even more important goal is all the learning that we do that builds towards that exam. It's corny, but everything about this show is corny. It's the journey and not so much the destination. And so all the learning that we do preparing for the Step 1 isn't just to do well on that exam and get that 3-digit score. It's learning that we do to build a foundation on which we can continue to learn and grow and become better physicians. And so a lot of the teaching and advice that I got from my upperclassmen wasn't just geared towards succeeding on the exam, but it helped me through the wards, and it continues to help me as I move forward through medical school. And so that's really why I wanted to create this platform. I think it's important that we create a community amongst ourselves as medical students, a larger community where we can synthesize what we have learned and grow together rather than separately. And now, with that little spiel in mind, I'll move on now and tell you guys what Spoonful of Sugar is and what we have set up for you. So, Spoonful of Sugar, or SOS as I like to call it affectionately, is a podcast made for medical students by medical students. We're going to release episodes on a weekly basis, and each episode will be hosted by a third or fourth year medical student like myself who's taken the USMLE Step 1. Ideally, these medical students will be across the country from MD and DO programs alike. Each episode is going to review an important medical topic in as comprehensive a scope as we can possibly cover it. So just to give you an idea of some of the topics that we have lined up for you, we have episodes prepared on topics such as congenital heart disease, pneumonia, diabetes, and we're going to try and cover important aspects of these diseases and try to tie together what you learn in the books with how you'll be tested on exams. Our episodes are going to be structured in kind of a Q&A format. So we'll try to ask some questions, give a pause for the audience to think, and then we'll go on and talk about the answer and the explanation and maybe try to come up with some mnemonics to help you guys remember. The idea with this Q&A format isn't to make you guys feel like you're constantly getting pimped, but rather so that you have an opportunity to test yourself and challenge your brain to recall that information, because I really think that's an important strategy and an important skill to have to help you practice recalling that information. Everything that we go over is going to be ideally designed so that it's at the level of USMLE Step 1, but I think more than preparing specifically for that exam, it's important to create a foundation of knowledge. And so we might occasionally throw in tidbits that help you as you move forward to your clinical experience. With Spoonful of Sugar, I essentially have 3 overarching missions. So my first mission is to put out quality content so that first and second year medical students who are preparing for the Step 1 exam can review information for free and at their convenience. My second mission is to create a community of medical students that help each other and kind of pass forward their knowledge. And so I'll talk more about the end as to how you can get involved, but I really do invite all medical students who've taken that Step 1 exam to come together and try and contribute and pass forward what they've learned so that future medical students can benefit from that. And finally, my third mission is to focus on the learning rather than the outcome. When I was studying for Step 1, I know I definitely did this. I focused a lot on the number of questions that I got right versus wrong, and then later as I took practice exams, the scores that I got. And all of that can be very draining, and it can really batter your confidence. And more than that, I think it can also impair your learning process, and it makes it more difficult to retain information and to benefit from all that hard work that we're putting in. And so what I really want to do is not redefine, but maybe reconceptualize success so that we're not so much focused on that score or the percentage that we get right, but rather on the learning that happens. So are we understanding what we're talking about? Are we able to recall it at a future date? Are we able to explain it to somebody else? And I think that if you're able to focus on the learning and focus on wrapping your mind around things, then the outcome or the great score is going to happen just as a side effect, of that solid foundation of knowledge that you have. And so really that's my third goal, to focus on the learning rather than the outcome. Thank you so much for listening to this episode and taking the time to learn a little about what Spoonful of Sugar has to offer. I assure you, if you tune in future episodes, you'll definitely learn a lot about important medical topics and have an opportunity to review your learning and test yourself a little to see what you know. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to log on to our website at spoonfulofsugar.org, and you can actually post them under the comment section for this episode. We have a lot more information about our website and what we have to offer at spoonfulofsugar.org, so definitely check that out. If you're listening to this as a third or fourth year medical student and you're interested in joining our team and recording an episode that reviews a topic of your interest, then please reach out to us. There is a contact page on our website with instructions on how to get in touch with us. And we definitely look forward to hearing from you. That's all I have for now. At the same time that this episode was released, we did release our first content episode, and so definitely check that out. I'll talk to you guys again very soon, but in the meantime, just remember that SOS doesn't just have to stand for a cry for help, it can also stand for Spoonful of Sugar to help the medicine go down. Thanks, guys.